Um, I mean, I don't know if the vibe's any different. I just think as you evolve and keep going, the expectations get greater and greater. How we do things becomes more defined, and what the guys that have been here for 2 or 3 years now understand what we're trying to get at, and they're able to keep that rolling amongst the clubhouse. So I think the vibe's been great. It's been a little bit lighter atmosphere, especially on the pitching side. Those guys are having a blast down there in the bullpen and music and stuff like that. And I think that's all by design that Jeremy wanted to do, get these guys confident. But at the end of the day, we curtain comes up kind of tomorrow with inter squads, and we'll see how these guys respond when they're put in game situations. So, but right now, vibe's great.
What's your sense of the cultural buy-in, relative to kind of your expectations?
I think it continues to grow and get better and better each year. But obviously the landscape that we're in with transfer portal and new guys every year, it sometimes takes a little bit for them to understand the do's and don'ts, the things that irritate me, for lack of a better term, on a daily basis, and what my expectations are. Not necessarily the physical mistakes that drive me crazy. It's more the mental mistakes and the effort level, those type of things. If I have to teach effort level, then you shouldn't be here. And body language, those type of things. Those are the ones that I guess push my buttons, for lack of a better term.
Year 4 for you, Willie. How big is this year for taking that next step in the vision for this program?
They're all big years, but I think we're focused on preparing these guys to get ready to play and hopefully make a run. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. Is we've fallen short the past couple of years, and that's been disappointing. So obviously we're not where we need to be. So we got to keep coaching and keep recruiting, keep getting these guys better and better, and everyone knows the expectations here. I'm not satisfied with what we've done, and nor is the administration or the fans or the alumni. We all want to get to the same place. So we're going to keep grinding toward those goals.
You talked about the transfer class and them kind of gelling with the rest of the team. How do you feel like the chemistry is among the guys? Do you feel like it's closer than previous years, or would you rank it over your 4 years?
I think it's we've had very tight clubhouses, the last 2 or 3 years, and I don't get the sense that this is any different. I mean, I think they're very they get along well. I mean, there's some definitely tight-knit group. My biggest challenge the last couple of years is, you guys like each other. That's awesome. Not saying that I want confrontation, but we need more accountability at times, and sometimes it's more powerful coming from a teammate than a coach. So that's all I'm looking for is these guys to hold each other accountable for doing things the right way, and player to player versus coach to player.
What is the process to maybe establish some of that accountability? Is that on the players, or are there things that you guys can do to help the players accomplish that?
A little bit of both. I think for me, it's given these guys, especially the older guys that have been here that understand it, the freedom to do things, right? And man, you call a guy out for not having effort, or if he's late to practice, send him home. Go ahead, send him home. Like, it's okay. That's what I would have done. And so having I can't see everything, that goes on a daily basis. So if they feel that's the right thing to do, this is their team, send them home. So, or whatever for the day. Obviously not release them and give them their papers, but get after them more than anything. So there's some guys that are starting to step up and do that, which is good.
With the loss of a leader like Campy to the draft, have you seen a guy maybe step up and try and take that leadership role, a veteran in the clubhouse?
There's several guys. Getting Toby back is big. He's been around. It's his 4th year. Brandon Compton's taking that step. Getting New Contradas. It's been a big week for him. For on the health front, where he's starting to look a little bit like his old self and getting confident that his back is healthy. So having him kind of starting to take on more of that leadership role, Isaiah, doing what he does, and there's enough guys there that should be able to hold court in there and keep guys accountable.
When you said the pitchers are having,
bringing back 50% of your innings from last year, which is kind of a change where you guys had to remake the stat in previous off seasons. What has that allowed you to do as a coach coming into this fall ball camp?
Sleep at night. That's been the biggest challenge the first 3 years here is we haven't had any repeat arms. Coming in with no freshmen my first year, and then late in the recruiting calendar for that year for the following year, and only having a couple guys that ultimately aren't here right now because they just weren't up to our standards. And then last year we had a whole bunch of freshmen, right, and that was at times ugly and made freshman mistakes. But now that they're a year older and seasoned, getting a lot of those guys back and seeing the jumps that they've made and what they did this summer was impressive. A lot of these guys. Getting them back, for a second year, getting Ben Jacobs back for a second year. This is really the first time we've had arms that have come back. We've had a lot of position players roll over from one year to the next, but the first year we've had pitching that's been rolled over. So, and we've added some nice pieces as well to what we've already had. And I anticipate, if everything goes well, I anticipate having good problems on the mound. So we should have a slew of guys that should be able to get outs.
Sam also mentioned the biggest jump these guys are taking are from freshman to sophomore year. You mentioned a lot of them look good. Who do you think might have taken the biggest jump this summer?
Well, I mean, bullpens are bullpens, right? So I think that'll tell when we start playing games. But what I can say is a lot of these guys are a lot more confident. They're a lot more physical than they were last year. Some of them are throwing significantly harder. Not that velo is everything, but we'll see how that translates once the games start. And the bullpens have been fun to watch. Pounding the strike zone, and that's the biggest thing. Pound the strike zone. So yes.
With you saying that, with the bullpens and saying that it just kind of seems more relaxed in year. I mean, obviously, like you said, for the freshman to sophomore year, that's a bigger deal. But even for the new guys that have come in too, has that I guess personality helped with the bullpens and the growth you've seen so far?
I think it's there's a fine line between, and don't get me wrong, it's not like they're screwing around down there. It's just trying to build the confident vibe. I think it has been the key to this whole thing. And whether that's getting in a zone with certain music that you got going or whatever. Hey, I mean, pitchers obviously they beat to their own drum. But whatever it takes for those guys to get confident and trust their stuff, understanding what their repertoire makes them good, what makes them successful, and just continue to pound that into their minds that when you get out in the mountain, that's just what you go to in these situations. So I think Jeremy's done a good job with that. His staff, team of guys down there that are getting these guys better with the tools we have. And then don't forget about the mindset. So I think he talks a lot about that with these guys too, which is that'll always be paramount.
Have you seen Isaiah Jackson kind of grow over this past year in the summer?
Yeah, I think we anticipate seeing a big jump from him. And I think the biggest thing with him is just clarity, mind clarity, and understanding that the buy-in on what we're selling here from an offensive standpoint. I think Zay's issue was that there's a lot of we just need him more defined on what he's going to work on and listening to one voice. I think Jason has his attention. They've revamped his swing, revamped the approach a little bit, and some mechanical overhaul type stuff that's been needed. And he's been fun to watch here early on, just in batting practice and in live at bats. I look for him to be much more consistent throughout the year.
How do you feel about playing in a new conference?
It'll be an adjustment, I think. Still the same game. Still gotta pitch it, catch it, throw it, hit it. Those type of things will always obviously remain consistent. But I think getting to know the style of baseball that certain programs run, that'll be the adjustment. You start understanding in our old conference that what certain teams like to do, and you can prepare for them throughout the week. This will kind of be a little bit brand new. It'll be new for us, so we'll really have to utilize the scouting tools that we have and those type of things going into each series, and try to have an idea of the brand of baseball that those certain programs like to play, and try to defend it accordingly.
What are your thoughts on
how long ASU has been kind of a staple of Pac-10 and Pac-12 baseball? Is that going to be weird at all, going all new places and seeing new things?
Yeah, it will be. I think it's an adjustment for everybody. I mean, you're seeing it with football. You're seeing it with all these different sports. It's kind of strange or surreal that we've got a conference game going down to Texas Tech, for football, or Kansas is a conference game at home, and it'll be different. And whether or not the fans or people find that exciting, I mean, maybe, I think so. I mean, it's kind of different and new, and for us, it's been a bit of a fresh air, I think, when you're dealing in these meetings with the Big 12 and the commissioner of the Big 12 on how aggressive he is on getting stuff done. That's been cool, right? To see how those guys work. So, but teeing it up against other teams, TCU and Kansas State, Okie State, those teams that'll be kind of new and exciting, I think, for everybody.
What are your thoughts on how your schedule's coming together?
Everything is done except for one game. Unfortunately, we had a team back out kind of recently that we're just waiting to fill that one game. But it's a challenging non-conference schedule that we're going to play. And what I can say is we're going to play the first 4 weekends at home, on the weekend, and then we're still trying to continue the old rivalries that we've had, with UCLA and USC during the midweek, if we can. We got a double midweek at UCLA, assuming they get their field worked out, what's going on down there. And then we have USC coming here for a single midweek. So we're going to continue to try to play those Southern California schools if we can, and keep that rivalry going along with the new conference.
How advantageous is it to have that home field advantage early in the season?
We'll find out, right? It's obviously, I like to get us out on the road early on. That's why we did the double mid at UCLA. But at the same token, we understand that we gotta hold court on our home field here too, and put up wins and win the games we're supposed to here at Muni. So that's kind of how the schedule rolls this year.
With looming changes to scholarship limits in the NCAA, how would that might affect roster construction in the future?
That's the thing keeping me up at night. This whole recruiting landscape has changed dramatically. The roster, how you're putting things together, is going to change dramatically. Having to make tough phone calls to some of these kids that have been committed, and understand they haven't done anything wrong. It's just we don't have as many roster spots as we've been accustomed to or we anticipate. So, and then, like I said, the $1 million question: is it going to be 34 in the fall or 34 in the spring? And when is that? If it's 34 guys in the fall, we gotta obviously the emphasis becomes on flexibility, guys that can play multiple positions, and we can't miss. We got to be definite on who we're bringing in. So that definitely is probably the biggest change that I see on the horizon.
How do you feel you've done in the evaluation process of the prospects you've run in at the high school level, and how that's progressing forward now with your second recruiting class?
I think not that rankings matter, but pulling the number 11 recruiting class in the country, and then our next year's class is, I think, top 20 as well. So, I think we're doing well. But recruiting's hard, man. You can see these guys in high school and summer ball, and once they get on campus, they're a completely different player. Like, what happened to that guy, or vice versa? You get a guy that you take a long shot on, and he comes and turns out to be Kian Vu, right, where he becomes an All-American, or Brandon Compton, or Ryan Campos, or Jacob Tobias. These guys are walk-ons that become All-Americans. So that's part of this landscape that is, I want to say disturbing, but it's like, man, you give some of these kids an opportunity that maybe are late bloomers or something that you're going to miss out on now, that are not going to have that chance. So, but at the same token, recruiting stuff, it's hard. And I think the overall evaluation process, having Jason and Jeremy along with Sam, Jason's done that his entire life, has been evaluating players and what makes them good. And if they're going to be able to play at the next level. So having those guys along with Sammy are very helpful.
You mentioned feeling optimistic about the pitching talent among newcomers. It's early, but what's jumped out about some of the arms that you brought in?
Just overall stuff, and I mean we got guys that are pretty good that we've been hoping to have for a while. So, and I think experience too. You know, you got a guy like Jack Martinez that is senior coming in and has electric stuff and has been successful. Has pitched on Friday nights before. Obviously, getting Ben Jacobs back for another year is going to be huge. And Will Koger from Louisville is an older guy who's been through the wars a little bit. So having those veteran arms that are electric and are coming in and ready to contribute right away to add to what we've already got it's exciting.
You got some high velocity guys.
Some guys are running up there a little bit, so that'll be fun to watch.
A couple of voids up the
Last
middle.
question, guys.
A couple of voids up the middle, losing the 2 starters from last season. How do you feel about you guys in that area?
Great, feel outstanding. Jax Ryan getting healthier every day. I anticipate him being in that mix. Matt King, great player from UTSA that we got in the transfer portal, and then Kyle Walker is a phenomenal player out of Grambling. Played for Team USA, so I think we upgraded there. And Camden Bates, a kid from Tennessee who's very talented. So a couple freshmen that are in that mix too that are pretty good. Beckett Zavorek's playing well. I'm confident. I don't feel I'm not losing any sleep over losing the middle guys that we did last year with who we got now.
Coach, I apologize, but Christian Curtis returned to the Valley here at the Fall League. Any comment on his development since he left the country?
Oh, it's awesome. He's been outstanding. We were selfishly we wanted him back one more year last year, and you can see why. We had him coming off 2 Tommy Johns. We got him in the portal, coming off 2 Tommy John surgeries, and didn't really have a fall to work with him. We just got him healthy, and he was right into the weekend rotation. So we really never got a chance to work with him and develop him much. It was just go compete, kid, and then he got drafted and signed. So it would have been nice to have him one more year, and you can see why with what he's doing. But he is just got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but he's just been outstanding second half of the year, and then had a great outing opening night in the Fall League the other night. So phenomenal kid, came back, said hi to the boys. He just that's what we want with the program. Guys going out, doing well, and coming back and pouring knowledge into our current team and just continuing that train. So happy for him, and we got his little brother coming next year. So we'll have another Curtis around here.